The machine is getting better. The people aren't. And that's what's already happening. That's not me predicting it. So if you're a financial advisor or an RIA owner or just a founder in this space, you got to understand that what this means for your business before the market explains it to you the hard way. So stay with me here for a second. Here's what AI actually did to content. It raised the floor. Not the ceiling, the floor. So before AI, producing decent content took time and skill and money. And most people just didn't have all three. So the average was pretty low. You could stand out just by showing up consistently with something coherent. But that's gone. Now, anyone, and I mean anyone, can produce content that looks professional, sounds polished, and hits the basic marks, and it's professional and it's fast. So the floor on acceptable just got raised by about 4 feet. So think about what that means. It means content inflation. It means marketing inflation. Because when everyone can print money, money buys less. When everyone can print content, attention buys less. When everyone can get in front of people with emails and content and advertisements and all these things, then all those things buy less. So the average piece of content used to cost something to make, and now it costs almost nothing. And it's easy to just beat up on AI slop, but everything's not AI slop. AI is being used poorly for AI slop. Then there's other people that are thinking, okay, but I'm not just putting in, give me 5 posts about X. They're putting more into it, right? But still, this cost of production, it's dropping to close to zero. So the market's getting flooded. And that really brings me to my second point. The flood is already here. Your feed knows it, your inbox knows it, your client's feed definitely knows it, and volume is everywhere. So as volume increases, attention collapses. And that's the thing really nobody wants to say out loud. AI didn't just create a generation of great creators. It created a generation of acceptable ones, adequate ones, acceptable posts, professional emails, professional LinkedIn content that checks the boxes, but it doesn't move anybody. And the machine can just manufacture this output, but it can't manufacture the standards. It can't manufacture restraint. It can't manufacture an earned point of view. So what happens when the floor rises and the flood follows? Well, the average collapses, and it happens fast. So the middle of the market, the content that's decent but not distinctive, it's professional but it's not personal. It's very polished but it's not really real. That content is becoming invisible. It's content that used to be pretty good, but now it's indistinguishable. I mean, literally, this is the craziest thing that I see now is that we complain about AI slop that's the same caliber as the stuff that before AI that people were paying money to have mass produced. It's just that everyone is mass producing it now. That's the only thing that's different. It's just mass produced. More people are doing it. And so now it's indistinguishable, and indistinguishable is bad. And here's where I got to be direct, because I think a lot of advisors are making a mistake right now. They're watching AI get better, and they're thinking, I need to use more of it. And I don't necessarily think that's wrong, but I do think it's incomplete. The advisors who are going to win in this environment, they're not the ones who use AI the most. They're the ones who use AI to protect the thing that AI can't replace, which is you. And this is easy to say, but How do you get to the real you? Your thinking, your standards, your specific, earned, hard-won point of view. AI rewards people who already had standards if you had a clear voice before AI, right? If you had a clear voice before AI, then AI just makes you faster. But if you didn't have a clear voice before AI, the only thing that AI can do for you is make you louder. And this is one of the things I hear from advisors is, I realize that I sound the same. And so I can buy more reach. But if I sound the same, I'm just joining into the noise, what I call the credential choir, another voice in the credential choir. And if you're just loud, without signal, it's just noise and you blend in. So, what do? Do you get louder? No. You plant a flag, a clearer flag. And I call this framework the floor, the flood, and the flag. Okay, number one, the floor rises. AI makes average cheap and it makes it abundant. Number two, the flood follows. So the flood is volume being everywhere. And when volume's everywhere, attention collapses. The flag is the answer. That's your signal. It's your standards, your specificity. It's your earned point of view. It's what makes you the right person for the job for this person, not just because you're qualified, but because you give them a gut feeling that this is my guy or this is my gal. So the flag is what makes you findable in the flood. It's like being in a very, very noisy environment and someone says, "Hey, Joshua." Well, if it was any other name, I wouldn't hear it, but it's like you're calling out to me. Okay, well, because you are. So I'm tuned to hear a certain signals above the noise, even in a loud environment. My name is one of those signals. Okay, so I need to be specific, more specific about what the flag actually is, because I see a lot of advisors confuse activity with signal. Posting more is not a flag. Just talking to a specific consumer, just picking your niche. Not against that. It's a good idea. But picking a niche is not planting a flag. Posting better is not planting a flag. A flag is the thing that makes someone stop scrolling and think, that's exactly who I've been looking for. And there's really three things that make a flag. And AI genuinely cannot replicate any of them because they have to come from you. The first one is standards. That's really the willingness to say no to content that doesn't meet your bar. The discipline to not post just because you can. Because when the production costs drop to zero, most people just produce more. The ones who win produce clearer signals. So your standards of what you're putting into it does it actually contain a signal? If it's not, your standards have to rise. The second one is specificity. And that's not just like, I help so-and-so grow. I help retirees grow. That's a category, right? That's not a flag. So think of the American flag, for example. A flag symbolizes something. What does the American flag symbolize? Think about it after this video. It draws out an identity, a shared identity. It denotes a shared meaning. It tells me, signals to me where I belong, where I'm welcome, where my values are shared, okay, where my outlook, where my history. There's so many that a flag is such a great symbol. So, number three is your point of view, but not just a point of view, but your earned point of view. And this is, again, one that AI cannot touch because anyone can go get the message now. Anyone can just get a script put together by AI, a script, a post, a content, whatever. But an earned point of view comes from doing the thing. And this is the thing that's really going to separate people in the next few years, because right now everybody can sound credible. But do you have an earned point of view, and can you articulate that in a way that people want to engage and listen to you, right? Where does your earned point of view come from? From building firms, from sitting across from clients who are scared, from experience of your past, from making the call that didn't work and understanding why. AI can read everything ever written about financial advising, but it can't have been a financial advisor. But your earned point of view, that's your moat. And everybody's moat's going to look a little different. If your moat looks the same as everybody else, as I've got 20 years as an advisor, I've got, this, whatever, that's not a moat. It's only a moat if it's distinct, if it's specific. So that goes back to what I said first, is standards and specificity. Your earned point of view is, just because it's earned, if it's not distinct, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't stand out, right? Those things work if you're kind of in a bottom-up relationship of you're relying on relationships and referrals. Okay, that stuff makes sense there. But the whole game changes when you go from trying to just generate growth from relationships and referrals, that bottom-up growth. Great, that's wonderful. But if you're trying to scale, you need to generate demand from the top down, which means you've got to grab people's attention. They've got to choose to tune in with you, lock in with you, engage with you, get to know you, build a relationship with you before they even get into the call. Because nowadays, people, it's not just about, when I first got into the industry, it was get the meeting, second meeting, third meeting, close. There was always a process. Now, you really don't have that much time. People are losing interest. You need these first meetings to be confirmations, not interviews, right? So your earned point of view is the moat if you develop it, and by develop it, that's making it distinct, right? Most advisors have it, and they never articulate it. They keep it locked inside their heart. They've never really discovered the signals that they should be putting into their marketing. So they end up spouting off professional anecdotes that prove that you belong in the crowd, but they don't help you stand out from it. So the flag is how you get it out. Okay, I want to show you something. This flag, this video is the flag. Notice that it's not perfect. It's not even professionally edited, but it is specific. It has a point of view. It's built on something I've actually lived. Building advisory practices, personally closing 7- and 8-figure clients, watching what works, studying the behavioral science underneath it, working with firms in multiple capacities over the years, as well as doing it myself. And I did all of that before AI, but I use AI now. I use it to draft. I use it to structure. I use it to pressure test. But the framework, the flood, confuse my own framework. The floor, the flood, the flag, they came from pattern recognition I've built over 20 years. AI did not give me that. It did help me say it faster. It did help me structure my thoughts for this video. As I'm on a walk outside and just spitting, this is what's on my heart. And that's the model, right? I built the system so I could spend less time in it, so I could stay in the thinking layer and the human layer. Human layer is who I'm talking to, my clients, right? The layer, I want to stay in the layers that AI can't reach. And I use AI to handle everything below it. That's what I teach, and that's what I'm doing here in real time, so you can see what it looks like when it works. So the advisors who figure this out in the next 6 to 18 months, they're going to own the next decade. And the ones who don't are going to wonder why their content and their marketing isn't working, even though they're posting every day, even though they're spending, even though they're doing the refreshes and the reboots. They're going to struggle to generate demand. So the only way they'll grow is from personal relationships and the referrals from existing relationships. Now, here's where I'll leave you. The floor is rising. That's the facts. And facts don't care about my feelings about them. The flood's already here. It's not going away. Volume is cheap now, and it's only getting cheaper. So the flag is yours to plant. Nobody can plant it for you. AI can help you articulate it, but the standards, the specificity, the earned point of view, those have to come from you. And you're not going to just get it from a little template of, well, the same template everybody's using. So the question really isn't whether you're going to use AI. You are. Everyone is. It's going to be built into our world. It's just going to be infrastructure. This whole to AI or not to AI, that's foolishness. It's going to become infrastructure. So the question is whether you're going to use it to amplify something real or produce more of nothing, more of sameness faster. And I write about this stuff every week, and I'm filming more and more about it. So if you want to go deeper on what it actually looks like to build a flag in this market, the frameworks, the specific moves, the behavioral science underneath it, subscribe. Links below. And if this landed for you, share it with an advisor who needs to hear it. That's the only ask. See you soon.